Hello, welcome to Tarot and Oracle for the Soul. My name is Sarah, and this week I will be doing a book tag created by Gareth at Books, Song, and Other Magic. And this is the Oh the Places You'll Go book and life tag. So the first prompt is which direction you choose. Book prompt. What's the first place you go in a bookstore? If it's a big box store, the first place I go is the bargain section. The bargain section in Barnes & Noble is always amazing and I love going there. If it's a small independent bookstore, the first place I go is their spirituality section to check out what witchy and books and new age books they have, as well as tarot books, tarot and oracles that they carry. And then the life prompt is, what is the biggest life decision you made that has impacted your life? There have been so many decisions that have impacted my life that it's difficult to choose just one. However, I would say the biggest is the most recent decision, which was to leave Phoenix to live in a rural community so we could have a bigger house and live creative lives. And how has this impacted my life? Well, it has changed everything. At first, we left just Phoenix and stayed in Arizona, and now we've left Arizona and are in New Mexico. And it has left me feeling untethered and ungrounded and without community. So I am so grateful and so thankful for the tarot community online. Y'all are my lifeline, you're my life support. So it's been really hard. I mean, each decade you get older, and when you move and you go to new places, it gets harder and harder to make new friends. And the first year we were here, it was great because I was working and I had work friends, and I was taking art classes and things like that and met people. But as you get older, it's harder to have relationships. Everybody has their own life and friends and family. And when you are a couple who it's just the two of you and you don't have extended family around and you don't have your built-in friends, it leaves you feeling kind of untethered. And in Roswell, since it's a very big Christian community, it leaves you feeling a little exposed and kind of like you can't be yourself. In terms of art, it's been really good for my husband, I think, for selling his alien art. It's like perfect for Roswell. So for him, it's good, and it's quiet, and it's a lot cooler here. Like this week, we're still like the first week of April, but Phoenix is going to be 100 degrees the second week of April, and here it's like just barely getting to like the 80s. So we just had snow in April here in Roswell, which it would be unheard of in Phoenix. This weekend, April 5th, it's snowing, and then next Saturday it's going to be 91 degrees. Weather in Roswell, New Mexico is crazy. And let's, just talk about how crazy the wind is here. Now the snow is sticking to the ground. It's gonna snow until like 6 o'clock tonight. April 5th, 2025. Smart to go down any not so good street. Book prompt. What did you use to read that you don't read anymore? So I have taken a long break from reading self-help and Wiccan books, and it's not that I've stopped completely. I still have those books. What happened was I kept pushing myself each year to read more and more books. So my average through my 30s used to be like 32 books. And last year I think I read 52 books. And this year I was like, I'm gonna read like 60 some odd books. And if you're reading that many books, it's hard to do deep dives into especially occult books. Those books are so dense and there's so much, and usually when I'm reading those, I'm reading like the classics. I'm reading books from the 1930s and 40s, like Dion Fortune and Aleister Crowley, and those books are really, really dense. You can't speed read those books. I can't, at least. And I want to take notes and I want to assimilate and I want to think. And then when you're doing self-help, there's usually exercises and things you want to do. So you can't be speed reading. You can't be reading a book a day or even a book a week. Those books take months to read. So I had set a crazy goal for myself for this year, and I think I'm doing pretty good. However, I want to take a step back and kind of reassess my goal, because I want to start reading tarot books and occult books again. And to do that, it's going to slow my reading down, especially if I'm creating videos. I'm trying to get at least, I want to try to get at least 2 to 3 videos up a week. So if I'm doing that, it's going to, that, you know, editing, filming, I try to film like all day, and then it takes me days to edit. You know, if I film 2, 3, 4 videos, it's gonna take me a day per video to edit and get it uploaded. Life prompt: what you have learned either as a hobby or an education that you value the most. What I value the most for a hobby is being a tarot reader. I had to take a break from it, but for myself, I've gotten back into doing a tarot card and oracle card pull a day, and I just value that. I also value writing every day in my law of attraction journal, and I'm really enjoying doing my indigo dyeing. That's been a lot of fun. And last year, everything I made last year in 2024, I gave away as gifts to people. And this year for 2025, I have to order some more indigo dye, but I'm hoping that I can sell my scarves and my shibori pieces at the farmer's market. And I've been making jewelry, which has been really fun. So I'm hoping that I can sell those things so I can buy myself some more tarot decks. The next prompt is, you'll be seeing great sights. Book prompt: pick a book with an attractive cover. All right, so this is, I don't know if I'm saying it right, Dalagat Dream Department Store, the Korean #1 best seller. The dream you ordered is sold out. I think this cover is absolutely stunning. And I mean, look at this rainbow on the back. Like, I know there's a rainbow on the front too. Like, the colors are just so stunning. I love this. I had to have the book. I don't know if I'm gonna love reading the book. I don't know if it's going to be my cup of tea. I don't know, but I just think it's an absolutely gorgeous book, gorgeous cover. It makes me happy just looking at it. I bought this book mainly because of the cover. I love those bright colors. Life prompt: what is the most beautiful place that you've visited? So I can only speak for the United States because I've only been to Canada, Mexico, and the Bahamas. So in the United States, I think the most beautiful place that I've been to is Sedona. It is so breathtaking, especially when you turn the final corner and you get into the town, and it's just so breathtaking. It's hands down the most beautiful place to me in the States. And I've been to a lot of places. I've been to a lot of state parks. I've been to a lot of different states and seen a lot of different things. Now, the swamps in Louisiana were pretty nice too, except the alligators really scare me. And there's beautiful places like Rocky Point in Mexico is gorgeous. Like, the beaches are so nice and the water is so clear and so warm. Like, that's a beautiful place too. However, just the sheer majestic views of the red rocks, it's just awe-inspiring. My parents love going to the Grand Canyon, and the first time I brought them to Sedona, they were just like, their jaws were on the floor. They were flabbergasted. And I'm like, this is 10 times better than the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon has nothing on the beauty of Sedona. Just the energy there and the peacefulness and the architecture and the people. Sedona is one of my favorite places besides Phoenix, and of course, and then Prescott is really nice too in Arizona. So that whole area, South Central, Central North, like Arizona is just gorgeous. You'll be best of the best. Book prompt. What do you feel confident that you know a lot about with regards to books? So I know a lot about women's studies, feminist discourse. I was a women's studies major in college, and I still read feminist discourse and feminist commentary now. I've always consumed feminist content before college, during college, after college. I'm always learning, and I'm always trying to better myself and see in what ways internalized misogyny is really ruling my life and how I can be a better person. I think it's really important to look at the complete history of a nation, of the world, rather than just the male history. It's too easy to erase women. It's too easy to erase cultures that are not white, European centric. And we need multiple voices, and we need to learn from multiple points of views. I feel like I have become a better human being because I left the community that I grew up in. I left that culture. I left that way of life, that thinking. It has helped broaden my thinking, broadening my perspective. It has helped me to see where maybe some ideas that I was raised with are not healthy or correct even, and that there's so much joy in the world, and that it's not just all about Puritan sacrifice and Puritan values of overworking, that you should have some fun, right? And that everything isn't so serious, that you should have some fun and laugh and take a break, that it's okay to rest, and that it's okay to work on your hobbies, and that you don't have to work all the time. And I don't know if I would have learned that when you stay in the community that you grew up in. You just take it for granted that the way that that community thinks, or that your family thinks, is the right way and the only way. But once you start traveling, and once you start living in other places, and you see how other people live, and how other people interact with people, and how other people act and react to certain things, and you start learning more it gets you out of your small little box of thinking. What would be your specialist subject on Mastermind? It would be feminism. I mean, feminism is what I know, or books. It would be about books. We just picked up a fun card game all about books, and my husband actually did pretty good. I mean, he reads. It's interesting. He reads books that I don't read. Like, he reads sci-fi and like high fantasy, and I don't like those books. So he knows those things, and I know like general fiction and the classics and stuff like that. Except when you don't. Book prompt. What kinds of books do you feel that you don't relate to? So I was just saying, I don't relate to sci-fi very often. There's a few that I've read that are like okay. I don't like high fantasy. I cannot stand world building. Like, if there's a little bit, fine. But The Hobbit, no. I'm asleep. Like, I cannot watch those movies. You know what? I need to buy those videos and just put them on. Like, I don't have a TV in my bedroom, but I should put those on. I'll be asleep in 5 minutes. I have extreme insomnia. That's what I need to do, because I can't watch anything like that. Like, or read it. I'm asleep. It's so boring to me. I also, This is an unpopular opinion. I don't like smut books. They're not for me. I don't want to read fantasy books with smut. Like, it's just nothing wrong if that's your genre. Like, cool, enjoy. It's just not mine. Like, I'm good. I also am not into mainstream history or war history. Again, it's, you know, it's not my thing, and it's too centered on male points of view, and I've had enough of that. All right. And then it's like, what is something you've stopped doing or that you've given up on? So I have given up on a 9-to-5 job. I had given up on it previously when we first left Phoenix, and then when we moved here, I was missing it. I had nostalgia, so I got a job and was doing that, the 8-to-5 thing, because there's no 9-to-5. I was doing the 8-to-5 thing, and I just, being micromanaged and having your boss call you every 5 seconds, where are you, what are you doing, what are you doing, what are you doing, and not letting you work was not fun. And I realized, oh yeah, this is why I don't like 8-to-5. I don't like being micromanaged. If I'm doing my job and I'm meeting my deadlines, leave me alone. So I'm done with that. The Waiting Place, book prompt. Name a book you're excited to read that's on your TBR. I am super excited to read Fearing the Black Body by Sabrina Strings. I have about a 2-week whole wait from the library on this book. Sonia Renee Taylor mentioned this book in her book, The Body is Not an Apology. And The Body is Not an Apology has so far been a top read of 2025. So I'm really looking forward to this book. I look forward to learning more about the intersectionality of racism and the Black female body and how it influences culture. You know, I try to read diversely from the voices of feminists, whether they be African American, African, Middle Eastern, Indian. I want to hear the diverse voices and what different cultures need in terms of feminism, and how that looks in their cultures. So I'm really looking forward to that book. I think it's really important to hear, like I said, a plethora of voices, hear from different points of views, and I feel like that's really how you step out of your mental boxes and maybe flip scripts or see different points of view and be like, oh, you know, like that makes sense, or oh, okay, like I like that, let me try being like that, or let me try doing that. So that is my most looked forward to book. What in general are you looking forward to most this year? I am looking forward to selling my own goods at the farmers market and hoping that I sell my jewelry and my scarves, and you know, really throwing myself into this channel, Tarot and Oracle for the Soul. I'm still going to be doing some things with Sarah's Prismatic Musings, but you know, just deepening my tarot practice and my spiritual practice this year is really important to me. Manifesting is like, whew, super important to me this year. I'm not really big on the law of attraction, and I never have been in terms of like for personal gain, but I think it's important, and I think that working on ourselves and becoming better people helps elevate humanity. So I know that like taking time to rest and being hopeful is super, super important. So that is what I am looking forward to, is resting, creating art, creating beauty. I think that art is such an important part of our lives, that beauty and having beauty in the world is so important because it gives people joy and happiness and hope. And without hope, what do we have, right? And without laughter, what do we have? I don't want to live in a gray beige world. I watched this really cool video from an Indian woman who talks about how South Asian culture is even becoming like beigeified, and how in the West it's like you're not taken seriously if you're not in black, navy blue, white, or like beige, right? And how everyone has beige homes, and like how this lack of color is seen as being better than, or more like trustworthy or whatever, than having a culture with lots of color and vibrancy. And I just don't agree with that. I love color. Hello, my favorite, my book cover. I love colors, and for myself as an artist, I love bright colors. I think it brings joy and happiness and playfulness, and it just speaks to my inner child. And I think that if we all had healed inner children and in our lives, the world would be a brighter, happier place. And I know that, you know, obviously India has its issues, and I love the goddesses of India, but even though they have a religion where the goddess is as revered as the gods, women are still treated brutally and oppressed, and the patriarchy is very strong there. And it's like, what is the answer? What is the answer? I'm reading a book about biblical women right now, and it's interesting. This historical scholar and feminist was raised evangelical, and I'm not an evangelical Christian. I have no experience other than what we hear in the media of with that religion and how it's taken over our country. And it's interesting that how wrong the evangelicals have gotten Jesus's teachings and Paul's interpretation. And she fights, her thesis is that Paul was fighting for the equality of women, and how evangelicals have twisted that into placing women in subordinates to men. And it's an interesting read. It's really frustrating that this incorrect way of interpreting the Bible has been placed, and now it's been placed on a whole culture, our whole society of the United States of America, and really just oppressing women. Anyway, sorry, that was a tangent. Thank you for watching this prompt, and please hit that like and subscribe button for more tarot oracle reviews, as well as book reviews and vlogs. I will see you all next time.